Hello again. Now let's see how do we tackle this. We have an axis line up here, neck, spine, which is the back, and then boom here, lower leg. Lower leg, the leg, her left leg, which holds the whole weight of the body. It's been where the weight you can see this on that leg, and this leg is only balancing out. And to balance out her move, as she's moving this way, she's swinging her arms here. She couldn't swing her arm there because she would probably fall, so she's actually balancing out her move. So there you are. Leg is keeping the weight, body twisted upwards, and then the upper arm twisted the same, and the leg is keeping the other side. It's keeping the again balancing out the figure with a little bit of a touch here on the ground. Well, let's go for it then. Hello, back again to the drawing session of the Tuesday drawing session. Well, let's have that other model that we have here. And as I've explained the axis line, we have the head, the body, the axis of the body, then the leg. It's almost vertical, but it's not vertical, but it's almost vertical. Let me switch off the notifications. Okay, now we have the leg down here, the line, the axis of the body, head and arm. We have that arm here, her left, her right, and the body here, and her thigh, right thigh, and calf here. There we are. Now, let's be also a little bit more specific. The head, she's looking on her left arm, and the head is, we have that shadow on her left. Then you have face, line of her face, skull, and that is a dark tonal value all around there. Okay, and neck. Now that made the body short, so I need to do something with the body here and create that hip here. Then the thigh, her left thigh, and that is all in the shadow. Then you have calf on a vertical line. Let me look at the picture now. On a vertical line from her pants, on a vertical line, this is where her bone structure is on the foot, and big toe, and all the rest. There you are. Now we have the shin and a dark tone, which will give me the shadowy part of her upper thigh. And I think I need to come a little bit closer here with this, her right thigh, and possibly look at the head and raise it a little bit, because that distance is quite short from her chin to the hip. Let me measure it again. I didn't measure it, I just looked at it, but I think I've got to measure it now, and that is toe to to the pants, and that's almost a perfect middle. The toe to the crotch area. Okay, so from the toe here to the crotch area, and that is where her chin will be. Yeah, so I had the impression, and you can see that it was wrong. So I'm taking it back, raising the head a little bit here. This is her hair, upper arm, her right upper arm, knee, elbow. The elbow is lower than that, it's closer to the top of the head, so the elbow is here. And then you have the lower arm. And we have upper arm, lower arm, here we have it. That's the whole movement of her upper body. Then this will be the shadowy part of her left hand side belly. These are the rib cage here. We've got the rib cage here, and armpit, and the calf, which moves away there, and then the foot itself, which is above here, foot, then toes, and the shin. Okay, now I'll do something different this time. Instead of starting with charcoal dust, I've started it with charcoal, not the charcoal dust, and now I will add the charcoal dust. So let's see the difference that will make. Okay, so let's try the charcoal dust. So charcoal dust, advertising it now because it's a good one. Okay, it's basically charcoal which has been grinded. Instead of I doing it, myself doing it, then it comes ready from, it's ready sold. Okay, the only thing is that it makes lots of dust, and you can have it anywhere, everywhere in your floor. That's the only downside to it, but it's beautiful. And then you have where the eye area is, eyebrow, upper arm, armpit, the bra here. Then this is the rib cage, belly, that's a belly, the other part of the rib cage, bra here again, and a little bit of a darker tone here, which is the area of the torso, armpit. Now this is where the outline of the upper arm is, but I want to bring it and merge it with the background, because I want that area to be the focal point, because that's where the contrast, the big contrast is, which then where the light comes from, and that is the background here on a vertical line that comes from the face down. This is where her hip comes, where the hip area is here, I'm talking this particular line. That's her pants. This area is all dark again. That's her thigh. Dark again here, thigh. And a little bit of darker tone, which will define both feet. And darker tone here. Darker tone again. And darker tone here as well. It creates a nice atmosphere. And what I'm actually emphasizing here is this time the upper arm. Of course the feet as well, and the legs and thigh, but the upper arm, because they're closer to the light, and also it's a beautiful movement of the arms. And of course the legs are there to support the upper body and the movement, but also the arms are important because they're creating a very nice movement, basically. Very athletic and kind of almost like a ballerina movement here. So a darker tone, so it's like the figure, it's appearing from a dark place, from a dark background. And let's be a little bit more attentive to the upper arm. Take some dust from here, which is where the charcoal dust just lands when I sprayed it with a brush. And darker tone here as well. And probably working a little bit on that side of the face here, and hair, and here a little bit of a smaller foot. This is the foot here on the right. Okay, I think now I think I need to use a little bit more, again going back to my charcoal. Where's the charcoal? Okay, another charcoal. And to, well, at least work with a darker tone, which is where the pants are. Not because it's important, but I like the dark of the pants here. This is her rib cage coming down here, and then this is a nice movement here of hip, making it a little bit more intense. The movement of the hip creates a nice interest, beautiful interest here with that line, dark line. And then you have the tension of the kneecap, which is holding the whole weight of the body. And pants here again. And as I said, let's give a bit more attention to the upper arm. It's very important here. I like the movement. It looks effortless. The proportions are perfect of the length of the upper arm, lower arm, and her face, which I think I need to grind a little bit of charcoal to make her pretty face. Okay, so coming back now with the eyebrow. Eyebrow. The eye. Left eyebrow.
bit of side of the nose. Upper lip, lower lip, and the chin. I need to restrict the chin here. There. Neck. Then you have the hand, the palm, just been turned, and here I think that's a very important point here, which connects the lower arm with the upper arm and the shoulder. Then you have the the elbow, and that connects to the palm here. And then you have the hand moving, looking up, basically. And the fingers. Darker tone. Okay, here we are. Okay, I think it's not too bad for a start. Looking a little bit low with the camera. And here will be a line which will suggest the turn of the rib cage, the upper body, and possibly a little bit wider here on the upper body. And the upper arm, eyebrow again, the eye looking right on the right hand side of her body, forehead, side of her face. There you go. Okay, I'll leave it for a while and then I'll continue later on. But this is basically a good beginning. The proportions are okay, and it just needs some softening of those lines, which I'm, especially this one, where create the hip and the upper thigh, that shadow, which it's a soft shadow, it's not as dark as what I've done here, and also lowering slightly bit more the kneecap to be well proportioned with the rest of the thigh and the body. Okay, so let's get back to our face. That's the eye. Unfortunately, with my charcoal I cannot get into that space, so this is why I'm using pencil. And also I'm moving the head, the movement of her head. She's looking up on me while she's not actually looking up on the original picture. Now, why is that? Because I think that gives also more interest and more movement, more drama, more interest equals more interest. Now, bit of a darker tone on the hand. So I'm trying to move or imitate charcoal with my pencil here. So I'm making it as dark as possible. This pencil is, by the way, Conte, but it's not 1710. It's a different number, but it's quite dark as well. Okay, so getting it as dark as possible and to resemble willow charcoal, and a little bit thinner here where the bone, the elbow and the armpit. Okay, and possibly come here a little bit and do, now here I can go, well, let's finish with the face first. And the nose, which if the features are looking up, the nose also follows. The upper lip, there you have it, and a little bit of darker tone. All right, okay, that's her hair. Now, coming back here, I can intervene here with proper willow charcoal because it's not as tight the space, and coming back here and doing that line of the thigh, and also here is where the bone or tendon separates her pants from the thigh. So here, that's a very important point, this one here. And that creates that roundness of the thigh, but not only the roundness, it's also a very powerful point, which powerful point of connecting the muscle to the main hip area. Okay. With a bit more putty rubber here, getting that line here a bit more intense. There. And then coming right down here and connecting it straight to the knee cup and the foot itself. And toes. There you have it. Okay, now the face. I will use a little bit of Mono Zero to make it a little bit clearer where the eyes are and where she's looking, making slightly smaller the eyes now with the Mono Zero. Now here I can get into the very tight area of separation of eye and eyebrow. Here I have the chin, cheekbone, and you have the forehead, chin, and a little bit of a lighter tone here on the, which gives the neck, makes that neck stand out. And light tone here on the torso. And a little bit lighter here, where the armpit is, and possibly make it slightly a little bit wider here. There. Okay, now on the whole this area, the lower part, as I just said earlier on, this is the most important thing in my opinion. Then you get the kneecap here, which connects with that light area. Calf. And here, I would say that light comes right back to the bare bone, literally bare bone, the ankle bone here. There. And a little bit of all these tendons here which are connected to the bare bone, and also a little bit of lighter tone here, first of all right here to brighten up that area, muscly and bony part of the thigh, which is this one, especially on this model because she's very lean. And then this also is very, very, very bright here. That stresses out. So this highlights those contrasts that I'm doing here are very important. Now why? Because they connect the lower body with the upper body and they show strain. This is why I'm highlighting this here. They show total strain because she's holding her weight, all her upper body weight with this leg, and this is only balancing out. Now here we have, and then connect that to the kneecap, and then from the kneecap, calf, and the heel, and then the heel here. Okay, and a little bit lighter tone, especially right here, right at the heel here. Now with a brush coming back, I would right where the line which separates the background with the foot here. Lighter tone, darker tone, not light. And here as well. And a little bit darker here. So it suggests the upper body, you have the lighter tone in the upper body, and then also I can soften that impact, those darks. See, they don't have to be as dark as that. Here is where all the action is. And this is why I'm letting those as dark as I can. So some darks here to separate the thorax. Here, and a bra. A little bit of a light darker tone here. Darker tone on closer to the face, and that sharpens up the face, this darker tone that I'm doing, and sharpens up the or draws the face, if not sharpens, at least draws the face a little bit more. And here all these darks, I can actually come and do that background and bring it forward to her armpit. And then I think that's better, simplifying as well, as much as I can here. So connecting the upper arm with the armpit and having the connection right here where my brush is at the moment. And that will connect with the thorax by a soft shadow like that. And a dark tone right in between the upper arm and the neck there. And soften those lines, soften that line. I can actually soften the whole upper arm like that. So I only emphasize this, although it's not like that on the original picture. It is all light, but I think it's a bit boring to me that all light, all the arm bright and light and as it is there. So I'm making it deliberately, choosing to make the lower or the lower arm, so this area where the bicep is, lighter, instead of doing the whole arm, because otherwise it's what I see there. But as an artist, you can choose your battles. You cannot work on everything with the same attention, because then it becomes predictable. You want to be a little bit unpredictable. You're coming here with an adventure. You are, as an artist, you are the one. We are actually mapping out your model here. Not the model is mapping out, I'm trying to map out my model here. But that doesn't mean that you can draw what you see. Absolutely. And it's correct. But sometimes you need to be your own artist. So you decide what's important to you, to us. A little bit light, but not much more than that. And then up here, doing the elbow, giving it a little bit of a lighter tone. And maybe here I will choose to do both light, or maybe not. I think I prefer to do that still. The bicep a little bit lighter, instead of going also up there with a lighter tone on the hand, and then doing that lighter tone here. And a rib cage here, rib cage here, rib cage there, here, there, and maybe a little bit of a shape of her breast, so a little bit lighter here, just a tiny touch, not much more than that. There is no need for that. We know the breast is under, so that's enough. Now here, instead of doing a line, I'm thinking of doing a line with a putty instead of doing a line with a pencil. There. And a bit of a cuff. And here we have it. Straight line. Don't know why I'm doing that straight line. I think I need some structure there. That's why I'm doing it. I think everything is bended, so I need maybe a straighter line. It's like an intuitive move, but of course there is logic to it. So, and then maybe darkening that a little bit more, or not darkening, but making it a softer line. And emphasizing that little muscle which connects the upper arm and the shoulder, so which is this one. There we are. Okay. And here and here, having that, and having it here a little bit softer, and then coming now on the belly, here the belly button, and then a little bit of a softer line for the belly, softer light, and then lower here, or lighter, or a lighter tone, not lower but lighter tone there for the belly, and maybe just doing a little bit of a highlight. And then a little bit of line, light tone here, lighter tone here as well, lighter tone there. Okay, I think I've got the movement now. And the hand itself, I think is good. Just making it a little bit smaller, because I think it's enlarged a lot.
So basically doing the fingers like this, kind of. It's a little bit unclear. Yes, it is clear. Yes, if you zoom in on the picture, you'll see that it is basically, that's what's going on. She's doing this. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, just a suggestion is enough. And then maybe just doing that turn of the upper arm here. There. Okay, I think everything is in place. Proportions are okay. Maybe that thigh a little bit more rounded. And ya está. That's it. Ya está. That's it. Basically in Spanish. So let's keep this thing rolling now on internet and on the YouTube so you can all see it. And here as well. Maybe coming back with some party rubber line there. And that thigh there. That's important. Here we are. Okay, I think I'm done here. See you on the next one. Hasta luego. Oh, hold on. One thing before I go. It's this. There's something bothers me about this. I just looked at it and then it's not convincing enough. So I think I need to keep it soft and merge it. Merge it so it doesn't attract attention a lot. Just a tiny bit. And then come in with your mono zero, and that light is enough to make it work. Here we are. And the toes there. And a little bit of lighter tone here. There. Okay, I think knee cup, and here as well. All right, 23rd, I think, isn't it? 23rd. Or 3, 26. Okay. See you on the next one. Adios.